feeling this kind of real sense of discomfort at the moment? Maybe this anxiety when there's no clear plan ahead, or just the chaos of the world right now, or even those Monday morning triggers, that kind of old familiar dread, then know that you're not alone. And what if what you're feeling doesn't mean that something is wrong, but it's actually a sign that something is ready to emerge? And so let's talk about routine, because that's the topic for this week's Harmonic Pulse. So, routine can feel like safety, right? And I'm going to share a story of something that happened recently when I was out with a neighbour, and she told me how much she likes routine and how she prefers to know exactly how her day is going to unfold, what's happening that day. And I gently responded, "Oh, really? I really like adventure." And, she was like, "Oh, no, that did not feel good for her." And so that moment really stayed with me because it reminded me how much of our culture clings to kind of predictability, because for many, routine feels like safety. But here's the truth. Our need for sameness is often driven by this deep subconscious fear that if we don't have everything under control, if we're not in control of our life, then something's going to go wrong, right? And actually, this creates a false sense of security. And that false sense of security is quietly draining life of its magic. And yet, for so many, we are yearning for something more. We want more to this monotonous life of day in, day out grind. And that yearning is really your soul calling you to step outside of your comfort zone. Because real safety is found when we trust that we are held, that we are safe and supported, even in the unknown. And I've been there too, right? Waking up with that Monday morning feeling of dread, wondering, well, what am I doing today? Where is that next opportunity? How will I be supported? But I've come to realize through my own experiences and through guiding my clients through this exact same thing that these feelings often arise right before something new is about to emerge. And this is precisely the moment that we often get stuck or we kind of fall into that panic mode. And it's not that we've failed or that we're not good enough. It's that we've entered the void space. And the void is that sacred pause between the old and the new. And it really challenges everything. Our nervous system goes into overdrive, our sense of worthiness. And it also brings up old programming about money and productivity. And it's uncomfortable. And it can often last longer than we would like. But it's also a test of trust. Can you trust that you're being guided, even when nothing makes sense? Can you remain open, not just kind of bracing for impact and collapsing into fear and worry? Can we breathe into possibility? And rather than allowing, we kind of rush in to sort of fix what we perceive is a problem. And so, why is that? Well, we live in this world that glorifies busyness. you know, um, Someone will say, "Oh, how's your week?" "Oh, I've been really busy." And they'll say, "Oh, great, that's good. That's good that you've been busy." Well, is it? It tells us that if we're not producing, then we're not valuable. But in New Earth, walking the Edenic path, quiet is part of the creation cycle. Like winter, it prepares the ground. And something is always kind of germinating beneath the surface, even when you can't see it. And so if life feels uncertain, if kind of routine has dissolved, and when that void space stretches out longer than expected, then know that you're not stuck. Know that you are becoming something new is emerging. And like seeds, beneath the soil, our next reality is emerging, it's forming underneath the surface, and it's not yet visible. And so when you can trust the timing, you get to discover that receiving doesn't require this kind of pushing and efforting and rushing. It really requires us to relax into the unknown, to kind of sit back and sort of see, okay, well, what's emerging right now? Can I witness that rather than trying to rush in and control it? And so, if today's message has resonated with you, then I really would love to invite you to walk this path with me. Whether it's through my Soul Path mentorship or sovereign guidance, or even just immersing yourself in one of my guided journeys, then all of my offerings really are here, or they're shared to help you walk through these moments of chaos and uncertainty with greater ease and grace. And also to reclaim your freedom, that sense of feeling free and stepping into our soul sovereignty. And so I'll drop the links below. And I want you to know that, we were never just meant to fit this mold. We were meant to create a new one. And the mystery is where the magic lives. Have a great week.